Do you want to build your dream Lego city, but you just don't know where to start? Today, I'm going to break down some tips for how to start a Lego city for a really affordable way, but also just to get you guys going. Lego city building has really fulfilled my quest for Lego collecting, and I think it is the best way to show off anyone's collection as we have all of these buildings together, mixed with roads, mixed with minifigures, mixed with any set that you could possibly want to include. I just love having a way to show my love for Lego. So my tip for number one is to start small. You guys can see that I just have loads of base plates here. This side of the city is not done at all. But you know what? Anything can be a Lego city. Over here, literally one modular and a few roads. That is a Lego city. So you can start as small as you possibly want and build up from there. But the most important thing to do is to just start. And even though I have obviously milled all my roads and everything, literally one road plate pack and a modular building is all it really takes. It is really nice having everything built up like this, but over a year ago, I was in the exact same place you are, and I didn't have any of this. Tip number two is something that I didn't do too well, but it's use the sets that you actually have. When I first started, I had sets like this Statue of Liberty that really kept me going and gave me loads of inspirations for what to build and where to go with the city. Same with this like Batcave and sets like it, as well as, the Ewok village down there. Now, yes, even though these aren't in the city, I still heavily inspire my ideas about how I can one day get them in. It is really easy to just have, loads of modulars and put the roads in. But I think by having your sets that you get from Lego, no matter how small or how big they are, really makes it a unique city. If you guys want to have a Millennium Falcon flying over the city, you can do that. If you want to have it parked up, you can do that. If you want a woods, you can totally do that. Smaller sets, you can have a bunch of smaller sets all mixed together with roads. That is a Lego city. Whatever you want it to be, it can officially be. I think that's one thing with Lego people forget is it is such a creative outlet. And even though this is all very structured with, buildings and everything like that, it doesn't have to be. You guys can do whatever you want with it, which makes it really, really fun for anyone who wants to. My tip number three would be decide if you are millsing early. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, basically the whole mills plating process is about having your normal Lego base plate and then having bricks and then having a plate over that. It means every building is a lot more stable, but it also means everything matches up better. Normally, with the normal Lego roads, if you don't have it mills plated, the roads will actually be higher than the normal base plates. But mills plating just allows for that elevation and makes everything come out really neatly. Now, millsing is obviously a big cost on top of everything that you have to get for a city already. But the reason why it's really important to decide early is because I've seen a lot of, channels where they have really big cities where they want to mills but can't because it's too big. Now, luckily enough, I actually mills plated this year. I originally didn't have anything on mills plates, but you guys very actively told me I needed to do it and it would take my city a whole nother level up. Now, at first, I didn't want to hear it because it was a big added cost. But since I've done it, my city has expanded and grown in such a great way. And I'm so happy that I was able to listen to your guys' suggestions because otherwise, I would never really have thought to do it. Another great benefit is the fact that it is so easy to just hold your modulars afterwards. I mean, yeah, you can pick these up with one hand mostly, and it makes everything a lot more stable, especially when you're moving things about. I found originally in my city design when I didn't have it mills plated that the buildings were really hard to change the layout with. I couldn't really take them out. But with the mills plates, I can do that so much easier. And it's just, nothing is going to break, nothing is going to fall apart, nothing is flimsy. You really don't have to worry about it. And that's something that was a really big positive for me as someone who likes to move their layout around quite a lot. Personally, I would recommend mills plating. It's been probably the best thing I've ever done for my Lego city, but there are definitely workarounds if you don't want to spend that extra cost. I know it is very daunting to get into Lego city building and know that you've got to buy all of these base plates and everything, but there are ways around it, which I will get into. But yeah, I would recommend it. There are ways to go about it. If not, I would say if not, definitely have a look at getting some of the original Lego road plates, like base plates, because they will be the same height as your Lego modulars, because the new road plates really don't work for them. Tip number 4 is another one that I didn't do too well, and it's to plan your layout. You can see right now, my layout over here is actually quite nice, but this wasn't planned at all and took a lot of mixing and matching to do. It is part of the fun, but I would definitely recommend knowing what you want to have before you have it. Now I have one big street that goes along the whole of the city, which I like a lot more, but originally I had a lot of roads separating each part of the city out, which just didn't look that good. And I think, by having more of a clearer vision now, I really wish that I'd planned out things more. Now, obviously, I could still plan everything out and go forward, but it's just something I'm not good at. Now, you can literally do this as simple as just a piece of paper and plan it out on there. Knowing what buildings you want to have next to each other is also really handy. But yeah, loads of options for that kind of stuff. Planning your layout also means you don't have awkward gaps like I've got right now, where I have these two massive MOCs next to each other with nowhere else really to go. It can get a little bit awkward because then your city doesn't come together as nicely as you'd like it to. The other thing I would say is the part of the planning would be choosing whether you want to have levels or not. I'm not really going to get into that too much because I have not personally done it, but knowing if you want to have like higher bits of your city, having smaller tables is something that is part of planning out the layout. Now, I don't currently have any levels. I do want to in future, but it's not something I currently have. But so knowing if you want to have those is definitely something you want to sort out very, very early so you don't have the mistake of then wanting to have something like that, but you don't know how to incorporate it into your city. Now, if you're not used to the channel, I know tip 5 might be a little bit controversial, but it's definitely helped me get to where I am, and that is by buying alternatives. I bet if you're a first time viewer, you didn't even know I had alternatives in the city. My Assembly Square and Jazz Club are real, but then the bookshop there and the Detectives Agency, all of these are fake basically, all the way going up to the Extra Mansion, that's real. They're all alternate from AliExpress. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that, but on the channel, we review them and show them how good they can be and how much they've helped me build this city to where we've got it. The Ghostbusters is fake, but the Avengers Tower is real. You really can't tell which one is fake and which one is real until you get a really closer look. So I would really recommend it. But yeah, I do know it's not the nicest of things to do, buying fake Lego. Some people just don't like it. But here's another option. Sets like these here, as well as my big Arkham Asylum there, are actually from alternative companies. These don't rip off the designs from Lego and come for some really interesting builds. Some other builds I've got over here, a bit like this corner where we have the antique shop, the Sherlock Holmes modular, and the Big Ben steampunk clock tower, are from companies that make their own designs. Well, these two are Fantasy. This is now Lumi Bricks, but they come out with their own versions of modulars and their own designs. A little bit similar over here as well. We've got two more Fantasy builds just here, which look absolutely fantastic. Now, yeah, obviously these are a different way to go alternatives. They're not rip-offs of Lego. They have their own designs, and they're a really, really good way to build up a city in a way that you wouldn't normally think about and have something unique. I don't see a lot of people with similar buildings to me because of the ones I actually get. And I do have reviews for almost everything else I have as well on here, like these fantasy builds. So it's an option that I don't think a lot of people would think about straight away, but is a really good way to make a really unique city. Another big part of buying alternatives and stuff like that for me as well has been the parts. It's not always about the buildings. You can see how many tiles I have on this Quickie Mart alone, but almost all of my roads are just fully tiles. So those are all alternate bricks that come along and match. Now, you wouldn't be able to tell on first glance at all, but yeah, like otherwise I'd be spending so many of hundreds of pounds on tiles, which I don't have to do because AliExpress sell them for a lot better of a price than you'd ever get with Lego. My tip number 6 is quite similar to that as well. It's by using the Lego Pick-a-Brick wall. I, still love to buy from Lego when I can. And whenever I find myself in a Lego shop and there is a good part selection, I will always be on that Pick-a-Brick wall. I've got some really, really great resources from there in terms of bricks, but also you can get tiles and stuff like that if you get really lucky. Recently, I've been looking for some transparent blue tiles so I can start some water in the city, but they've not really had too much of that. But when there are those bricks that you are needing for your city, the pick a brick wall is a great way, and you can get some really good prices for it. I think a big box is around 20 quid right now, and you can get like £70 worth of resources into there if you had bought it online from the Lego website. And getting some great bricks also means that mills plating can be easier. My tip number 7 is to buy locally. You can find some amazing deals on Facebook Marketplace, for example, or on eBay. But I love Facebook Marketplace. I've actually bought a few sets from there, and you can also get some really good part collections from people who don't want them anymore for really good prices. Locally, people are always willing to do a deal as well because they just want to kind of get rid of what they have. But by locally, I also mean your local shops. I personally live in the UK. I have a Smith's Toy Superstores near me. I have a Home Bargains, which you wouldn't even think would do Lego. But what is really good about them is Home Bargains especially, I buy almost all my base plates from. They are £1.99 each for a regular size base plate. And a lot of those go to my Mills plates and you don't even see them. So it doesn't actually matter, but they aren't the right colour. They're pink or yellow or red or whatever. But it means that I can buy base plates for really cheap. They also do loads of bricks, which help me Mills plate even more, which is great. But shops like Smith's as well, you can get actual real Lego sets for a lot cheaper than you would be able to online. Personally, I got my assembly square on the last day of its release, but from Smith's Toy Superstores for about £40–50 off what the original sale value was. That massively helped me out and started my city off with a bang. And during that time when I also started the city, I obviously got that assembly square, but I also bought the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is just nearest there. I don't know if you can see the top of it there. But I got that for £100 on Depop, weirdly enough. So always be looking for good deals because people definitely do them. That box for the Sanctum Sanctorum was massively messed up, but I don't care about the boxes too much. They are nice to have, but they're not the make or break for me. So I was able to build those two modulars for a really great combined price. Shops always put things on, for sale. And for me as well, living in, the UK, I have like a Sainsbury's, an Asda, a Tesco, all near me, which I will regularly go to and see if they've got any good deals. Recently, a few months ago, with the minifigure line, I actually went to Asda and they had them off for like half price. So I got loads of those minifigures and that was really fun because I wouldn't be able to get that deal anywhere else. I also got like one set, which was like a dragon set for about £2.50 from there. And even though something would, that directly goes in the city, it's something that maybe it could go in the city, maybe it could go in a park or something like that. You just don't think about these things until you actually get them, which I really like. And seeing, sets in your local shop could make you think, maybe this wasn't what I was thinking for my Lego city, but actually I could fit it in like this. Something I really like that people do is when they expand Lego city sets or just any Lego set. Like recently, the Miles Morales Bodega set came out and people have expanded that into a full modular. I love when people do stuff like that and expand their Lego sets. It really proves that we are such a creative community and come out with some amazing stuff. My tip number 8 is build what you like. You guys can see here, I have a bunch of Simpsons sets. These are obviously the real Quickie Mart and Krusty Burger that I've upgraded, just like I said, to fit better in the city. But I also have the Springfield Elementary School over here and a Moe's build over here. Some really nice Simpsons stuff. I'm a massive Simpsons fan, so building these sets really kept me, into the city game. Thinking how I could, go and put these sets into the city, but also just seeing, IPs that I like is always really fun for me. That's also a big reason why I have a lot of Marvel builds. Got the X-Men Mansion there, the Sanctum Sanctorum there. We've got the 2 Avengers Towers, which is a long story, a Daily Bugle, and then I've got the DC Arkham Asylum over there. Stuff that I personally like in real life, movies that I like, comics that I like, TV shows that I like. Adding stuff like that to the city will always keep me engaged in the hobby because seeing your favourite characters come to life and populate in your city is such a fun process that you can't really do with a lot of other things. I have loads of big boxes of minifigures ready to go in the city just basically from IP sets, which is always really, really fun. I can't wait to actually getting around to do that. But even here on my back table, you can see I've got the Dungeons & Dragons set, which was great because I did really like the Dungeons & Dragons set. Well, the film that came out last year, but stuff like that I'm always a big fan of. But yeah, you can fully customize a city to what you want to be. You guys can see I actually have the Fortnite Battle Bus, which will be a video coming out soon, right there. And that is just because I liked the IP and wanted to get it in the city somewhere. So you know what? I just went ahead and did it. I can't tell you guys enough. There are no rules to building a Lego city. It can be whatever you want it to be. My tip 9 is to know your space. You know, I'm really fortunate to have this massive room I've dedicated just for Lego. It's really cool to have this and know I can expand my city out. But obviously not everyone is going to have this. Maybe you want to start your city in a spare room. That's great. A few tables would be perfect for that and you can have some really detailed city, scenes going on. I would absolutely love, seeing that. But the other thing you can do is even if you just have some space in your bedroom, you can have, a shelf city where you have a few shelves, a few buildings, maybe some roads, and everything goes together really nicely. Like I say, then you can just decorate what you do have, a lot nicer. Like me, I have a lot of buildings, but there's not a lot of decoration going on through the actual buildings. There's not a lot of minifigure decoration going on. And that's because I've been quite lazy because I'm thinking of the bigger picture rather than just some of the smaller scenes. And that's something you can really get well when you've got a smaller city or just a shelf city. There's definitely nothing wrong with that option, and I do really like to see an amazing shelf city come together. I think it's one of my favorite things about the community, but also just people who utilize their space really well. Sometimes you'll see a city and it will look massive, and then when they zoom out, it's actually not that big, but there's so much detail that has gone in that looks great. Personally, my city is constantly evolving. I'm never really happy with it. But yeah, it's such a big space and I can't wait to really make use of all the space I have by, filling up with the roads and building greenery, parks and everything like that. I think it'd be really cool to do. And my final tip links with everything we've said so far. Is just to have fun. You know, Lego is a fun hobby. We shouldn't take it too seriously. And at the end of the day, like we're all in this community together. There's loads of exciting things that we can do and get inspiration from other people. I know a lot of people do give me hate because I obviously promote a lot of fakes like these on the back. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to build a city for a really affordable price. And I know you guys will want to do that as well, even though buying fully Lego is still a great option. Having the choice to just have fun is something I love. You can really just do anything you want with the Lego city. Like for me, for example, this building here, you can see it's broken down. I want to have a zombie section in my city. I want to have a Springfield section in my city. I want to have a London section. I want to have a skyscraper section over there. There's so many things that I want to do. And it just makes it fun for me that there's so many different projects I could work on at any time. One big one, I want to have a park. I want to have a beach, but the park especially is something I keep thinking about recently. So it's something I think I'm going to get into. Because yeah, having fun is the most important thing about this all. What would be the point if we didn't have any fun doing it all? I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's watched this video. If you're new, thank you so much for checking us out. I hope you really like what you've seen with the city. And if you're interested in seeing any reviews for any of our builds, we have a review for basically every single one of them on the channel, whether that be real Lego, fake Lego, alternative Lego with companies like Fantasy, Barware, Lumi Bricks. We really have so much to offer. Thank you so much for anyone who has watched all my videos already. You guys are a massive part of it and I would not be where I am without you guys. I do have a members only scheme where you get a lot of videos very, very early, so I always recommend that, but it just helps the channel out. It means I can keep building and keep buying loads of, stupid things like millions of tiles to do this road. If you guys have any suggestions or any extra tips you guys want to add onto the comments, I'd love to start a conversation about that. I love people helping each other out because I wouldn't be where I was if people didn't help me out. I know he doesn't upload too much anymore, but New Brickerton actually got back to me when I first watched some of his videos, and just knowing what to do with the base plates was massive for me. So now having a city like I do, and it keeps expanding, is something that I love doing, and I can't recommend it enough. I really do think it is such a creative way to show off the Lego hobby and something everyone is quite impressed with. Even if they're not a Lego fan, people have come around here and been like, wow, this is pretty cool. And that's always a nice feeling, isn't it? But guys, thank you so much, like I said, for watching. I've been Ballistic Bricks and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!